All right, welcome back, welcome back. All right, so we're getting ready to speak with Mr. Marlon Skerritt, and of course, he's founder of, well, crypto, Yepcast. Good morning and welcome, sir. All right, we are getting him up in a few minutes. Mr. Cox is here, and we are going to talk about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, cryptocurrency, a very interesting conversation that we're about to have because I remember when cryptocurrency, because it has been around, but there's a particular period where the conversations in terms of how we go about utilizing the digital currency that it speaks to. And I know our government spoke about some sort of restrictions until December 2027 at one point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's the latest, but of course, this conversation is an interesting one that we're about to have with Mr. Skerritt here to follow up on.
All right. Yeah.
Cryptocurrency.
And of course, there are skepticism, given the nature of it. It's not hard currency, it's not physical. And of course, there are concerns. And of course, we will have understanding crypto. And of course, the changes and the forex, as we match the two. People like to have physical money in their hand. But the world is moving to a cashless society where and that's basically your credit card and your debit card is evidence of cashless transaction and so on. But crypto is added to the list of money that you do, you move that you can see.
Yes, yeah. And when persons are trading as well, persons, I know persons actually wake up in the morning, brother B, and monitor some of their stuff and then go to work, as a rule. But I think, again, coming back to the government, some government, if you look in the Caribbean context, paying attention, generally, I think a Latin American report, I can't remember the report, had basically described the interest increasing amongst people within the Caribbean, but governments, of course, making that transition from using a flat currency to the virtual.
Right. So we do have Mr. Skerritt.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Morning, Tobago.
All right. All right. So we're going to work on getting to hear you in the studio. Meanwhile, what is cryptocurrency?
So cryptocurrency is a digital and or alternative form of currency, right? So just as we would with any digital currency, because most of our money is digital, right? As you guys were saying earlier, credit cards, online banking, these stuff are already digital. So cryptocurrency is an alternative, or if you want to put it as a newer version of money, because the form of money has changed over the years. So money could be considered as anything of value, right? Agreed upon minimum value. So livestock could be considered as currency, right? We know gold could be considered as currency. So anything that the majority of people agrees upon could be considered as valuable. It could be considered as currency, and crypto is no different than any other medium of exchange previously mentioned.
All right. So let's say I have a U.S. account, and as U.S., I could go and withdraw physically and so on. I could also shop online that I use U.S. currency. Let's say I want to convert the U.S. currency to crypto. Is that a possibility, and how can that be done?
It is a possibility, right? So we use something called peer-to-peer exchange, meaning that you could have physical U.S. currency and we could exchange the digital currency for cold hard cash. There are also facilities, different like payment processors and stuff. The Guap ATM is another way that we could use the convert the cryptocurrency into physical cash. So there are many mediums of exchange. Once again, is agreed upon value. So once the majority of the other party agrees upon the value, then it can be easily exchanged. So it can be done. And cryptocurrency is now legal tender in the United States.
Okay. And I understand that there's a crypto card as well. You have different crypto cards to access the cryptocurrency. You could just clarify that. And also, and also, what is the more important question for me is how do you earn cryptocurrency?
Right. So there are multiple crypto cards that we could use that works the same as any credit card or debit card. So currently, we can't go to the ATMs and push in the card and withdraw physical cash, a regular TT currency or any currency in the world, right? So that option is available to us now, and you can earn cryptocurrency by a variety of different ways. So most people will hear about things like trading, right? That's the most common one. Right? We have something called staking protocols, which is pretty much like leaving them money, like if it was to buy shares in a company and leaving it to appreciate, right? It can become a liquidity provider, meaning that they can lend the exchanges. Exchanges is kind of like crypto banks, and you can lend them cryptocurrency. And once they lend it out to their customers and they earn interest, you could also earn interest. So there are multiple ways to earn cryptocurrency, and it also if very much evolving. So day by day, there are new opportunities to earn cryptocurrency.
I'm thinking about understanding. So, just to be clear, you said that you can use the crypto cards and go to any ATMs, or international. Of course, viewers, we apologize if you're hearing a little bit, but of course we understand. So I hope you're hearing us. But that's correct. So you can go to ATM machines and, well, put in your card and withdraw regular currency based on what account you have? Or just clarify
Correct,
that for me.
correct, correct. So I do have videos where with me doing it in like locally and internationally. Where so the way that it works is that you can have your crypto exchange, which is pretty much a bank for cryptocurrency, right? And you can transfer your bought or earn cryptocurrency to this medium of exchange or crypto bank if you want to call it like that. This platform issues you a physical card or virtual card, right? It works and looks the exact same way as any regular credit or debit card. You could take this card and you could put it in any ATM locally or abroad, and you could put in the same bank pin that you would make the same as you would use any credit card, debit card, and withdraw physical cash, whether it be TT cash, whether it be pounds, whether it be US, whether it be anywhere. This facility is currently available with us right now. And there are multiple different cards that it can be issued to once you have the understanding and the knowledge of where to go ahead and get these things.
So crypto is legal tender is in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to be very clear.
Not in Trinidad and Tobago.
But you just
Not
said,
in Trinidad and
no,
Tobago.
so this is why it's important to be clear. You just said you could push your card and use cryptocurrency can be converted to
You
where is
can.
that access, where is that available, or where are we allowed to do that? If it is not legal tender in Trinidad and Tobago, then we can't convert any, we can't do any transaction with cryptocurrency. Explain that very clearly.
Right. Right. So Trinidad and Tobago is currently in a gray area where it comes to cryptocurrency. So it isn't recognized legal tender where government institutions would accept cryptocurrency itself. But because cryptocurrency is currency in its purest form, it can be transferred to any legal tender of any country. So therefore, once we earn the cryptocurrency, because it is very transmutable, it is very easy for us to liquidate it and turn it into physical cash.
All
So
right.
once we
Any,
have the cryptocurrency in any form, we could then transfer that into any currency.
all right.
So once we push the card into the ATM, it can be withdrawn via any local currency. So therefore, the currency that we will be able to use would be TT dollars.
Okay. Outside of Trinidad, is it legal tender in any part of the Caribbean, or is this maybe outside of the? Well, is it in the U.S.? Let's say I go there, I'm a credit card good, I push, and then I'll do my purchase with. Given that I converted my currency to cryptocurrency, I want to find out where, if any at all, in the Caribbean, it's legal tender as well, or is it just Trinidad and Tobago?
So there are frameworks within the Caribbean. I know Barbados specifically, El Salvador also has like they have frameworks for it to be used, right? But in terms of being legal tender that the government recognize it, no, it is still because it is a new technology. I know generally the Caribbean is behind in terms of technology, in terms of these things. So it isn't legal tender in its purest form. You can go to and pay a ticket with it, right? But it is accessible and it can be used widely throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world. So using to converting is no issue at all, simply because it can be converted into any currency.
Okay, and naturally, once you are involved, you would want to more or less Are you hearing me?
Yeah. All right. As soon as we get that. Yeah. All right. So we'll get it. Cryptocurrency, as you said, is a universal currency now. Obviously, the Caribbean has its own challenges, and we'll get further into it. Mr. Cox is back.
Yes, yes. Are you hearing me loud and clear, Mr. Skerritt?
Are you hearing us? Are you hearing us?
Are you hearing me loud and clear, Mr. Skerritt?
I hear it.
All right then. So what I was about to ask is, and I'll ask anyway. So you would utilize certain platforms to trade and exchange and so on, but naturally you would want to pay attention to one, which platform is a licensed platform and it's credible to be trading on, but also you want to monitor some of the changes in whatever jurisdiction you're functioning in, because I think, and I stand to be corrected, that there was a proposed bill in Trinidad and Tobago restricting, and I think that has to do with the Security and Exchange Commission, restricting the use of it up until the 2027 or something to that extent. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I just want you to point to, apart from the correction if I'm wrong, point to the importance of monitoring changes from a policy standpoint and even ensuring that you're trading on a credible and regulated platform.
Correct. So regulated platforms and unregulated platforms are widespread. So having the proper information is very necessary in terms of where you put your money. Now, the thing with cryptocurrency, because it's a new technology, a lot of persons don't have as much information as they need to go ahead and do proper transactions. But there are things that you could look at. Right? You could look at how many users there are on a platform. You can look at the different jurisdiction, how many places that it is being used. You can look at the liquidity that the platform has, meaning how much money itself that the platform has in one-to-one exchange, meaning if they issue in trading protocols, how much money does that platform have on hand to be able to liquidate to when it's time to withdraw, right? And the other side, things like Trustpilot, right? You could even use ChatGPT. We're using technology to be able to identify which one of these platforms that we can go ahead and use, right? In addition to that, when it comes to the policy standpoint, so in Trinidad and Tobago, currently the bill is a proposal, so it's not something that is actually law. So it's something that they would like to do. So currently, there isn't any legislation or regulation to restrict the use of cryptocurrency. Right? The central banks and the banks, they did whatever they did, but that's another topic, right? But in terms of being actually able to go ahead and do transactions, there isn't anything currently that restricts us, like absolutely, right? But being able to or understand and keeping up to date with the different policy changes would affect the way that you use cryptocurrency and the way you go about accessing the platforms and stuff. But it was a proposal, and we're still looking at it to see, what they do bring or what they're saying about it, to be able to maneuver, properly and know what's going on.
Okay. In terms of the coins, so you hear a number of coins. Can you just take the opportunity to just explain which coin is which coin? I know there's the Bitcoin and I know there's stable coins and so on. Just take the opportunity to just break down some of these coins that tossed around the place, and for persons who may not be familiar with cryptocurrency may get lost in the wilderness.
For sure. So there are hundreds of different coins and it can be confusing, but what you need to understand is that there is stable coins and there are volatile coins. So stable coins are technically pegged to the US dollar. And so for every stable coin there is, predominantly there is USDT, which is United States dollar tether, meaning that it is tied to the US dollar or tethered to the US dollar. So for every one USD coin you have, it pretty much means you own one US dollar, right? On the other side of that, the other cryptocurrencies are functional coins, meaning that they do something. So you can think about them as shares in companies. So for example, there is a company named Ripple that is trying to change the way that banks talk to each other. So there's a go off on a tangent quickly. Currently, the banking system talks to each other in a certain way using something called the SWIFT code. Right? And that is what has allowed FCB to talk to Scotiabank. And however, because the technology is outdated, if you send money from FCB to Scotiabank on a Friday evening, we wouldn't get it until probably Wednesday, right? But what the company itself is doing is they are trying to revolutionize the way in which banks talk to each other. So therefore, we'll be able to send money from Scotiabank to FCB, and it would happen instantly, any part of the day, any part of the night, right? So that's something that revolutionized it. The company is Ripple, but they issue a coin called XRP. So XRP is a share in the company. So for all the other cryptocurrencies that is not pegged to the US dollar, they're pretty much shares in different companies. And that's one of the easiest ways to understand it. So if you believe in a company, that company will then issue an alternative cryptocurrency. So the more information you have about particular companies or particular projects that are going on, you would have the different coins to go along with them. Simple.
All right, I just want to go back to how we conclude. All right, so let's say that I am sold cryptocurrency is the currency of the future. First of all, I have to know the value of it because we all crave for US because there's a value on the stock market, on the stock exchange. We know the value of US dollar. In fact, it's the trading currency of the world. Where is cryptocurrency in terms of its value? Is it pegged to the US? So in other words, give me something to convince me that look, I need to invest in. What are the benefits? Is it valuable? It is far more valuable than US dollar. Where is it in the world? And what other incentive I can feel comfortable to say, all right, look, let me shift and convert my currency, what I have in the bank, the few cents I have, into cryptocurrency. And why should I do that? And tell me about the benefits and where the value is.
Right. So cryptocurrency is currently a $1 trillion industry, right? There's hundreds of billions of dollars poured into cryptocurrency, right? And there are major institutions that is also issuing something called ETFs in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin specifically, meaning that traditional finance, traditional banking sector, they issue us stocks and bonds in different forms, and cryptocurrency is now being issued as one, right? So if you buy into any modern day ETF, meaning any modern day fund, mutual fund of any degree that you buy into, right, especially internationally, you will naturally own a portion of cryptocurrency because the traditional finances is pouring money into cryptocurrency. And the financial industry is what everything is built upon. So if they are investing in cryptocurrency, then who is you or I? Also, cryptocurrency, simply because earlier we spoke about how it is easily transferable. So having one cryptocurrency is no different to have one USDT or a stablecoin is no different than having one US dollar. Right? It also gives us access to
Is
the
it,
outside
hold on,
world.
stick up in. Is it more, the point I want to get to, is it more valuable than the US currency on the stock exchange?
I cannot say that cryptocurrency is more valuable, but it has equal value dependent on which way you look at it or the way you invested in it. Because the potential to earn higher returns is greater than traditional finance. So
I
in
want to
some
ask,
cases, it can be.
all right, I want to ask, on the New York Stock Exchange, we have the Dow Jones and we have other trading currencies. Is that, I can't remember the last day I listened to that, but is cryptocurrency one of the trading currencies at the stock exchange, the New York Stock Exchange?
So not only US stock exchanges particularly, but you can trade Bitcoin on different exchanges. So they do offer the ability to. But traditional finance, in terms of when you talk about the Dow Jones or the Nasdaq or stuff like that, right? The big companies, Apple, Google, will always be dominant, right? But cryptocurrency is right alongside, and Bitcoin is actually the best performing asset of all time.
Okay, and I mean, Mr. Scares, of course, we talking about cryptocurrency and presenting an opportunity for persons to dive deeper into um, learning about it and getting familiar with it. It has always been something, at least in recent times, where persons are trying to figure out how they can function with it. And if I just think about some of the, how Caribbean people can benefit, you know, you have your family living abroad and ever so often Christmas around the corner. You may be fortunate to have this would send funds home in an envelope for you. But I guess it's easier if you embrace the cryptocurrency to send certain, I guess, funds to you and your account and you receive it and you use your crypto card and you withdraw and so on. But that's just how I'm thinking right now. scamming and some of the things that we should look out for. Can you just touch on that point, Mr. Skerritt?
Sure. So to the first part, cryptocurrency is cheaper to send money and receive money, and it is also faster than doing it traditionally, right? Somebody from any part of the world could send you any amount of cryptocurrency, right, and they will receive it almost instantly, right? So it is a way easier, more convenient way to access funds as opposed to the traditional finance, right? In terms of scamming and stuff, but it is rife within the community because one, there is not a lot of education surrounding it, and because there is somewhat of a lack of legislation to protect consumers from it. Right, so without having any proper education and information about doing the transactions, it is very easy to fall into one of these traps. And because generally persons don't know about how finances work and how money is actually created, it is easy to listen to somebody who tell you, if you give 100, you'll get a million tomorrow. Right?
But what are the red flags? Let me go there quickly. Obviously, it's very tempting, and people can get trapped with those lurking crooks, as we call them, willing to will fleece every cent from you once they see opening to do so. What should people be looking out for? Should they want to invest? Do they need to do their own investigation to ensure that this is a legitimate website in some cases? Let's speak to what we have to look out for if we don't want to be scammed.
So first thing first, common sense, and we have to use logic, right? We have to understand how money works, right? So you can't put $1,000 into something and then tomorrow you receive 20,000 out of it, right? Then the person who's doing it should be able to do it without your 1,000, right? So how the money is being created, right? So the first question I should ask is, what are you doing to give me this type of returns, and why it is do you need my investment to do such? So those are one of the things. Not being able to see or speak to the person that you are transacting with is another red flag. Because if somebody is offering you some sort of investment protocol or whatever, you should be able to see this person and speak to this person and have some kind of conversation and be able to scrutinize the service that they're offering you. Right, so we don't just meet random people on the internet and send money to them. Right, so these are some of the things that we should look out for. And if we just do these two things up front in the beginning, 90% of scams will go away.
All right. Okay.
All right, Mr. Skerritt. I mean, as I said from the very start of the conversation, very interesting indeed. And I think it's diving deeper into the whole product and knowing how with embracing cryptocurrency. But just before we close, in terms of where pan persons, if someone is listening right now and they want to get involved, the same boy, Mr. Skerritt, he convinced me. The talking, I hearing about this, but I have a better understanding. Where can someone start as a beginner?
Right. So if you want to get into cryptocurrency, without self-promotion, right? You can't go to any like on YouTube. They offer a lot of basic information and basic courses about understanding it, right? You can use ChatGPT. It's a simple prompt. What is the basis of cryptocurrency and what should I know? This is things that can act. And beyond that, if you do want to find out more NYC and you want to find out, right, you can search for our page on TikTok, Yapcast City, on all platforms. You could look at, and we offer in a more digestible way to understand cryptocurrency and how to get involved, and we could try to guide in the right direction.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We want to thank you for being with us this morning, and all the best to you. Yeah.
For sure. Likewise. Thanks for being here.
Very good. All right, so at this point in time, we go for a break. When we come back, we should speak with Pastor Beans. See you after the break.